Lord our God, the judge of truth. Amen. And then for all the kids, for each of you wearing Kenny and Linda and Fran, you can just make the chair. We can help you through if you want. Yours is actually from the bottom up. And it's our hope and our prayer, and I know this is true, that empty space is going to be filled with beautiful memories. You already shared so many beautiful memories of your mother, of Ma, of Minnie, and it's my hope and our prayer that the empty space that chair represents is filled with a lot of love, a lot of beautiful memories over the next series of days and weeks and months and years. Amen. You can be seated. We're going to start in just a moment. I want to just confirm that Arvi and Paul are both speaking. I'll call you up, and then Debbie, you're going to sing. Okay. Rabbi Weiss, I want to make sure that you can hear.
Yes, we hear you fine.
Okay, thank you, Rabbi Weiss. Rabbi Weiss, I'm going to ask for you to begin our service formally by chanting and reading in English Psalm 23.
A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Thank you, Rabbi Weiss. Though we cannot all be standing here together in Cleveland at the graveside, physically holding each other up, we still gather today, both physically and virtually, to share words of praise, words of honor, words of gratitude on this Thanksgiving weekend to our dear Ma, Minnie Cohen, a beloved daughter, a beloved sister, a beloved wife, a beloved mother, a beloved grandmother, a beloved great-grandmother, a beloved aunt, and a beloved friend. There's a tradition on every Friday night, and as today is Friday just before Shabbat, for words from our Bible from the book of Proverbs to be recited in honor of a mother, in honor of a wife, in honor of a mother and a grandmother and a great-grandmother, called Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. And it's fitting to recite those words today as we say goodbye and remember Minnie with love. Eshet Chayil miyamsa v'rachot mipnei michra batak bal lebala v'shala lo yatzar. What a precious find is a woman of valor. Her worth is far beyond rubies. Her husband puts his confidence in her and lacks no good thing. She is good to him, never bad, all the days of her life. She opens up her hand to the needy. She extends her hand to the poor. She is clothed with strength and splendor. She looks to the future cheerfully. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her tongue is guided by kindness. She oversees the activities of her household. She never eats the bread of idleness. Her children come forward and bless her. Her husband praises her, saying, "Many women have done superbly, but you excel them all." Charm is Deceitful and beauty is vain, but a God-fearing woman is much to be praised. Extol her for the fruit of her hand, and whenever people gather, her deeds shall continue to speak her praise. At the age of 98, our beloved Minnie Cohen, Ma, has returned to her beloved George and all those who have gone before. We thought she'd make it to 100. We thought she'd always be here with us. And yet we are here gathering to say goodbye. Ma has left behind many in mourning. Her children, Linda and Harvey, Francine and Paul, Kenny and Yael. The apples of her eye, her grandchildren, David, Todd and Jessica, Evan and Christine, Michael, Debbie and Tracy, Rabbi Matt and Aaron, Rochelle and Zev, and Roni, and Shira and Patrick, and the diamonds in her crown, her great-grandchildren, Gabriel, Lila, Carson, Aiden, Mai, Aviv, and Ofer, Millie and Miles, and many adoring nieces, nephews, and friends. Our beloved Minnie now rejoins all those who have gone before. Our beloved husband George, the love of her life, who she is laying here beside. She returns to her sisters, Evelyn and Jenny. She returns to her parents, Isidore and Pearl. At this point, I'm going to call up her granddaughter, Debbie, to share a special tribute in song.
Bisheberak avotenu mekor habracha ve'imotenu. May those in need of healing, may the source of strength who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu Mekor habracha liavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
At this point, both Paul and Harvey, sons not just in law, but sons in love, will share tributes.
My darling Ma, when I first met you and I forced my way into a family Hanukkah party 28 years ago, and so gracious, so loving, and so beautiful. The words came back to me what my father always taught me Look at the mother, and you'll know what the daughter's going to be like. And he was 100% right. And she, my wife, follows in her mother's footsteps more than she even knows. Ma, you love me like a son. I mean, whenever I needed anything, wanted some sort of nosh, it was there within hours. Never, ever. And you always told me you loved me. I had a lot more to say, but to be very honest, I'm too emotional at the moment. Oh.
I am the lucky beneficiary of having Ma in my life. Indeed, we are all the fortunate beneficiaries of having Ma in our lives. When I first met Ma, it was young in my relationship with my to-be wife. I thought it would be a great opportunity to see into the future, as Harvey suggested, to know my wife is to know my mother-in-law. And indeed, I soon found out what a wonderful wife Ma was to her husband. She was devoted. She was shamelessly unselfish in her love. To her, George was more than number one. To her, her husband of blessed memory was everything. But she was not only a wonderful wife, but a wonderful mother to her children, to her grandchildren, to her great-grandchildren. She treated them like equals. She played with them. She played Kings in the Corner. She played Maj. She played Rummy Cube, and she treated them like equals. She yelled at them when they took too long to do their part. They had fun together. She played for hours long after they gave up. She was wonderful to them all. She took care of me. She frequently asked about her sons-in-law before she asked about her daughters. She always preferred men, so my wife said. So I, indeed, have been the lucky beneficiary of that. I mean, she made unending mando bread of coconut bars, of kechel for us, that she, every time we came to see her, and she brought it through her wife to St. Louis. Over the years, I had a chance to tell Ma how much I appreciated her producing such a wonderful wife for me. In fact, it was only a couple of weeks ago on FaceTime that I thanked her again. And on the screen, as I have many times, I kissed Fran. Only to have Ma say how much she loved to see that. That made her feel so good. So as I said, I am the lucky beneficiary of having Ma in my life, and indeed we are all the beneficiaries of having Ma in our lives. Ma, there's a part of you that will always be with us. We love you. We will miss you, but we will never forget you.
Kind and gentle, Minnie loved you all so much. Family was the most important thing in her life. She dedicated her life to all of you. Ma would do anything and everything for you. She knew the way to your heart was through your stomach. A baker par excellence, her mando bread was world famous. In fact, when I spoke to Kenny first upon hearing the news, he had mando bread on his heart and in his mind, and probably stomach too. She'd always have a tin stocked whenever you came over. She was strong-willed, a real go-getter. She called it like she saw it. She said she was shy, but she most certainly wasn't. She was outspoken. She baked those mando breads and Russian tea biscuits and coconut bars for you, to share her love with you, to take care of you. But she was also so health and weight conscious, a lifelong Weight Watchers devotee, even an employee. And it all started just before Kenny's bar mitzvah years ago, when she wanted to lose a few pounds for the simcha. As you told me, she taught us how to eat healthy and how to count our points. Minnie was so cute and adorable, always dressed so well, with her hair and nails done just right. Everyone adored her. She had an infectious personality, so funny, cute, and personable. She was no wallflower. She was confident and friendly. Most of all, remember her for her ma-isms, all the lessons and the stories and the sayings that she shared with you, the memories and the love. And granddaughter Debbie had collected them all into a special book, which was prepared for Minnie's 95th birthday, a special treasure for the family. She was a Clevelander born and raised in the Kinsman neighborhood, graduating from John Adams High School, working for the Klausner Barrel Company before marrying George. The story goes that Ma was on a date with another man. Perhaps it was a double date, and they went to a wedding. Let's just say Minnie didn't go home with her date. Her beloved George was there, perhaps the member of the other double date. But the story goes that the moment George saw her, it was love at first sight, and they ended the night making out in the back of George's car seat. And the rest is history. Married on December 15th, 1964. 1946, I messed that up. Sorry about that. 1946, 50 years almost to the day before George's passing by one day, already 26 years ago. They shared a wonderful marriage, raising their growing family on Bethany Road in University Heights, going down to Florida for winters, and later moving to Point East. Minnie catered to George. They had a traditional household. As George would say, a woman's job is to take care of the home, a man's job is to make the money. She certainly took care of the home. She raised Linda and Francine and Kenny. Mom cooked, baked. She worked the grill, cut the lawn, even painted the kitchen and hung the pictures. And every night when Dad was finished with dinner, he'd snap his fingers twice. Minnie would run upstairs to get his cigarettes and lighter. In this traditional household, there was so much love. They had something so special. Dad would say about Mom, she has me exactly where she wants me. They loved to travel, Hawaii, Israel, Atlantic City, Las Vegas, just to name a few of their spots. They took up golfing together, a passion they shared with their closest of friends. Ma and Poppy were the best, most especially loved when the grandkids would come and visit, and they would spoil them. When George had his first heart attack, Minnie became his guardian angel, watching over him like a hawk, changing his diet, no more Russian tea biscuits. She certainly added many years to his life, making sure he was eating and staying healthy. And when Poppy died, Ma was strong. She maintained her independence. She even adopted new technology to keep up with all of you, learning to use the computer, email, and an iPad. She was a wonderful mother, so devoted to you, raising you with love, so proud of each of you, and the families that you built, the partners that you share your lives with. Paul, you shared this memory with me about how early on when you were dating Fran, when you were both at Ohio State, within weeks of your blossoming relationship, Minnie had heard that her daughter was dating a nice Jewish boy. To ensure that you knew what type of family Francine was from, a nice Jewish family, Minnie cooked up a full meal, brisket, potatoes, and more. Kenny was home that weekend visiting. On his way back down to campus, Kenny, you were the delivery man, delivering that full meal on a special platter, proving to Paul that Fran was not only from a good family, but she could cook just like her mother. And Kenny, you told me that a visit with Mom meant sitting down and talking over a cup of coffee and her mandelbrot that you just couldn't stop eating. The ultimate grandmother, known simply as Ma. The story goes that when her grandson Evan was in first grade and not feeling well, he went to the nurse's office. His mother wasn't available to pick him up, so Minnie was the designee to pick him up if he was not feeling well and could care for him. So the school nurse asked Evan what was his grandmother's name so she could call her. And he said, well, her name is Ma. That's all I know. Ma taught you all how to make her mandelbrot. You all knew where the tin was so that you could always have more than one bite. The best great-grandmother. Ma was blessed to welcome another generation, to see and know her great-grandchildren. For so many of you, she shared her love of coins, giving you books to collect and store quarters from each state. I know Lila shared that with me. She loved her calls and FaceTime and visits with you. You always brought the biggest smile to her face. An excellent mahjong player, a lifelong pastime. She had her Thursday group for so many years. And when she played at Beechwood Rec into her 90s, she'd be playing with players so much younger than her and still winning. She loved to play cards with the grandchildren, as you heard, most especially Rummy Q. She taught you all how to play. She never let you win. She was competitive. A good shopper, always looking for a deal. Even when she was waiting to hear about the impending birth of the first grandchild, she couldn't keep herself from running to the store to get a deal. So Linda had to leave the news of the birth on the voicemail. A child of the Depression, always taking home a doggy bag of leftovers, or sending you home with some of her mandelbrot after a visit. Linda, you shared with me that Ma was your best friend. You told me how lucky I was to have my parents and be so close to them. You told me she will always be my mommy, that Ma was always there for me. She would do anything for me, and I promised to do the same for her. Linda, you visited her at Menorah Park every single day until the COVID restrictions limited you to FaceTime calls and occasional outdoor visits. You were her guardian angel. Minnie didn't have it easy these last few years, but you were all there for her. You made sure she was content and extremely well cared for. You all watched over her, ensuring that she always was cared for with compassion and love. COVID had taken away those daily visits, but still you were with her and connected with her. Still Kenny calling and visiting as well, Fran coming in and out of town. You were all there with Mom. And then you came together at the end to be with her again, one final time. She knew how much you loved her, and you know how much she loved you. May she always be remembered with love. Tehi zichrono baruch. May her memory always bring blessings. And we say, Amen. At this point, we're going to place shovelfuls of earth on the casket. And after we do the shoveling, then we're going to reconvene for the memorial prayer and the mourner's Kaddish. I'm going to place the first shovelful, and then we'll sort of each member of the family can come forward. Adonai Lacham. Yishem Adonai Mavarach. The Lord has given and the Lord has taken. Blessed be God's holy name. Om Mekama Tavod Shalom. Minnie, may your righteous deeds go before you. Rabbi Weiss says the family continues to shovel. And when we're completed with the shoveling, if you'll recite the El Male in the Hebrew, and I'll recite it in the English.
Thank you. I'm not going to throw dirt on mine. I don't care.
Okay.
Rabbi Weiss, if you'll lead us in the El Male in Hebrew. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure. To the soul of our beloved Minnie Cohen, Mindel, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that her loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May she merit a reward for the righteousness, the kindness, and the love that she shared with each of you and each of us in her lifetime. May she rest in peace, and we say, Amen. This time now we'll recite the Mourner's Kaddish together. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah b'alma divrach Yeruteh v'yalnek malchuteh v'chayekon uvyomekon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael b'agala v'isman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorak v'alam olamei omaya Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitha'ar v'yitramam v'yitaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata tishbechata v'nechamata da'amiran v'yalama v'yamru. Amen. Yehi shlomo Rabba min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mrama u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yamru. We believe that we are made up of two components. We have a body which is buried, but we also have a soul which is eternal. And we know that Minnie, that Ma's soul, is ascending to heaven as she lies here beside her beloved George. Her soul is ascending to heaven, and her soul is still able to look down upon us, to bless us, to inspire us, to teach us, and to guide us. We also know as that soul is ascending to heaven, we have a last opportunity to offer thanks. To offer thanks for all the love that you have given to us, Minnie, Ma. In gratitude on this Thanksgiving week, we love you, we appreciate you, we will never forget you. We will carry on all those qualities, all those traits, all those recipes that you've given to us. I'm blessed to know Kenny the best. And Kenny, many of those qualities that we talked about your mother, about her inner strength, about her ability to be a go-getter, to do the things that really have to be done, and to speak clearly when necessary. Those are qualities that you have, qualities that you share, and qualities that we respect, qualities that make you who you are. May we each look deep inside of ourselves at all those qualities that Minnie has passed on to us, has taught us. May we embrace them, and may we use them for good. And in that way, we will carry on her legacy and her memory. May she only be remembered with love. And to all the grandchildren and the greats that are on Zoom, not able to be physically here with us, we share our love with you. We know that you're with us together, even if we're not able to be physically together. We know how much you loved your grandmother and great-grandmother, how much you loved Ma, and how much she loved you. Keep that in your heart, and may it always bring you blessings and bring you strength. Thank you for joining us, and this concludes our service.